Located at the Monte Real Air Base in the Leiria district, on Monday the Portuguese Ministry of Defense officially announced the sale of 5 F-16 fighters to Romania, in a deal worth €130 million, Publico reported. With this process we not only divested fighter planes, but also established very close cooperative relationships with the Romanian Air Force, with pilots and the entire maintenance team, said Portuguese Defense Minister Joao Gomes Cravinho, speaking to reporters. Another Portuguese government official stressed that warplanes sold to Romania were still strengthening the Portuguese Air Force, but according to analyses made in the Portuguese military system, could be released. According to Joao Gomes Cravinho, fighter aircraft will undergo a process of modernization and renewal at OGMA, Portugal's aerospace Portugal, with the first 2 F-16s to be sent in June. 2 more planes will be sent in October and the 5th will be sent in early 2021. The deal, worth €130 million, in addition to selling F-16 fighter aircraft, also includes training of Romanian technicians in maintenance. Earlier in October 2013, Romania bought the first batch of F-16s from Portugal, consisting of 9 F-16A units, 1 standard seat made in 1999 that Portugal bought from the U.S. under the Peace Atlantis II program, and 3 F-16Bs were purchased with 2-seat by Portugal in the previous condition of excess U.S. stock through the Defense Excess Article (EDA) program. The first 12 F-16 batches were upgraded to the F-16AM/BM standard by Lockheed Martin and delivered in September 2016, with delivery of the first 6 units. This is followed by the delivery of 3 more units on December 13, 2016, and the last 3 units in October 2017. The F-16 Fighting Falcon is a single-engine supersonic multi-role fighter aircraft developed by General Dynamics for the United States Air Force (USAF). Superiority. This aircraft developed into a successful all-air multi-role aircraft. More than 4,600 aircraft were built from production in 1976. Probably no longer purchased by the U.S. Air Force. A better version was made for export flights. In 1993, General Dynamics sold the aircraft manufacturing business to Lockheed Corporation, which at the time was part of Lockheed Martin after a 1995 merger with Martin Marietta. The main features of Fighting Falcon include a frameless bubble canopy for better visibility, a side-mounted control stick for easy control when maneuvering, an ejection seat leaning 30 degrees from a vertical to reduce the effect of G-force on the pilot, and the first use of static stability stable, fly-by-wire flight control system that helps make the plane nimble. The F-16 has an internal M61 Vulcan cannon and 11 locations to install weapons and other mission equipment. The official name of the F-16 is Fighting Falcon, but Viper is usually used by pilots and crews, due to the similarities felt to Vipers and Starfighter Viper Colonial at Battlestar Galactica, which aired at the time F-16 entered service. In addition to active duty in the U.S. Air Force, the Air Force Reserve Command, and the National Air Guard Unit, this aircraft is also used by the USAF Air Demonstration Team, the U.S. Air Force Thunderbird, and is an enemy aircraft, aggressor by the Americans. The American Navy F-16s have also been purchased to serve in the Air Force of 25 other countries. In 2015, this was the most fixed-wing aircraft in the world in military service. The F-16 is a single-engined, highly maneuverable, supersonic, and multi-role tactical fighter aircraft. It is much smaller and lighter than its predecessor, but uses sophisticated aerodynamics and avionics, including the first use of stable, static flight systems, fly-by-wire, RSS, FPW, to achieve better maneuver performance. Extremely nimble, the F-16 was the first fighter aircraft made specifically to pull 9G maneuvers and could reach a maximum speed of more than Mach 2. Innovations included frameless bubble canopies for better visibility, side-mounted control sticks, and seats lean to reduce the effect of G-force on pilots. This weapon is armed with an internal M61 Vulcan cannon at the roots of the left wing and has many locations to install various missiles, bombs and pods. It has a thrust-to-weight ratio that is greater than 1, providing power for climbing and vertical acceleration. The F-16 is designed to be relatively inexpensive to build and easier to maintain than previous generations of fighters. The fuselage is built with about 8% aviation-grade aluminum alloy, 8% steel, 3% composite, and 1.5% titanium. Leading flaps, stabilizers, and abdominal fins utilize a bonded aluminum honeycomb structure and graphite epoxy laminate coating. The number of lubrication points, fuel line connections, and modules that can be replaced is significantly lower than previous fighters. 8% of the access panel can be accessed without a stand. Air intake is placed so that the back of the nose is advanced enough to minimize a loss of airflow and reduce aerodynamic drag. Although the LWF program calls for a structural life of 4,000 flight hours, it can reach 7.33 grams with 80% internal fuel. GD engineers decided to design F-16 airframe life for 8,000 hours and for 9G maneuvering with full internal fuel. This proved beneficial when the aircraft's mission changed from just air combat to air to multi-role operations. Changes in operational use and additional systems have added weight, requiring several structural strengthening programs. Early F-16s could be armed with up to 6 short-range AIM-9 air-to-air Sidewinder air-to-air missiles (AAM) using rail launchers at each wingtip, as well as AIM-7 Sparrow medium-sized airport radar guided by AAM radar in a mixture of weapons. The newer version supports AIM-120 MRAM. This aircraft can carry a variety of other AAM, various types of air-to-ground missiles, rockets or bombs, electronic countermeasures, ECM, navigation, targeting or pod weapons, and fuel tanks at 9 hard points, 6 under the wing, 2 at the wingtips, and 1 under the fuselage. 2 other locations under the fuselage are available for sensors or radar pods. The F-16 carries a 20mm (0.787 in) Vulcan M61A1 cannon for close combat and strafing, a 20mm cannon mounted inside the fuselage to the left of the cockpit. The main feature of the F-16 cockpit is its extraordinary field of view. The bird-resistant 1-part polycarbonate bubble canopy provides 360 degrees all-round visibility, with a viewing angle of 40 degrees on the side of the aircraft, and 15 degrees below above the nose, compared to 12 to 13 degrees in general from previous aircraft. The pilot seat is raised for this purpose. In addition, the F-16 canopy does not have a front bow frame found in many fighters, which is a barrier to the pilot's forward vision. The 0 ejection seat Aces 2 F-16 rests at an unusual 30 degrees tilt angle. Most fighters have a tilted seat at 13 to 15 degrees. The tilted seat can accommodate higher pilots and increase G-style tolerance. However, this has been linked to reports of neck pain, possibly caused by the use of the wrong headrest. U.S. fighters have subsequently adopted a simpler 20 degrees angle. Because of the seat angle and thickness of the canopy, the ejection chair has no canopy guard for emergency exits. Instead, the entire canopy is discarded before firing a rocket seat. The pilot flies mainly through the side stick controller mounted on the armrest, not the stick mounted in the middle, and the engine throttle. Conventional steering pedals are also used to increase the pilot's level of control over the aircraft during high-level battle maneuvers. Various switches and control functions are moved to hand with throttle and stick, HOTAS, controls centered on controls and controllers. Hand pressure on the side stick controller is transmitted by electrical signals through the FPW system to adjust various flight control surfaces to maneuver the F-16. Initially, the side stick controller did not move, but this proved uncomfortable and difficult for the pilot to adjust, sometimes resulting in a tendency to turn around during takeoff. So the control stick was given a small amount of play. Since its introduction on the F-16, HOTAS control has become a standard feature on modern Warriors.